If you know me and you don't, you would know that every Sunday, the same thought would pop into my head. I need to get my life together. Week after week, like clockwork, I would tell this to myself. And this kept showing up when I tried to be consistent with music specifically. And week after week, I would schedule crazy goals and a super ambitious schedule just to make myself feel better in the moment, only to wake up 3 days later with low energy, not complete what I was supposed to do, and then use that against myself. But recently, I've been reflecting on this cycle and I've kind of learned a few things about myself. What's really going on with this cycle? One of the first things I noticed when I really sat down and tried to analyze this pattern is that my planning would come from anxiety and urgency, never from calm. What would happen is I would feel anxiety and urgency about my future. And so I would create this perfect plan in order to soothe myself in the moment. And there's nothing wrong with the things that I was planning. It was just the fact that I didn't take into account my low energy days. My plan would work if you were a robot. Unfortunately, I am not a robot. Another thing that this kind of pattern revealed to me is that I very much have an all or nothing mindset. So let's just say hypothetically, I plan out my week on a Sunday. Monday and Tuesday go great. And then Wednesday, I kind of slip up a little bit and I don't do exactly what I said I was going to do. A previous version of myself would take that slip up and completely throw out the rest of the week. I would say, well, clearly this doesn't work. Clearly I can't do it. So I might as well just throw it all out. And then Sunday would come and the cycle would repeat. And this really staggered my productivity. Some days I would feel like I'm on top of the world, and other days I would want to go hide in a cave somewhere so that nobody would see me. There was no in between. Another thing that happened when I kind of looked at this pattern is I realized that I was planning for high energy days only. And so recently, I've been trying to implement this rule into my life, and it's pretty simple. It's just if your plan only works when you feel amazing, then it's not a plan, it's a fantasy. And I've really been kind of using that rule just to make sure that I don't over plan for something that, I know that I'm not going to be able to do. This realization also kind of made me notice some things about myself. I'm very much a mood and state dependent worker. I perform best when my energy's high, I'm in a good mood, and I can sit down for 3 or 4 hours and really lock in on something. That's where my best work comes from. Now, on the other side of that coin is when I'm tired, because you can't have one without the other. So there are days when I'm just tired. These are the days in the past where I would try to force productivity and force myself to do something. And that never went well. Trying to complete a high energy task when you have low energy is one of the worst things that you can do, simply because your mind is going to say, oh, well, you're not capable of doing this. This is not something you're capable of doing, which is not true. It's just that your timing is slightly off. So now for me, I've been focused more on directional correctness more than anything else. And what that looks like for me is I have two types of tasks: deep work tasks or light tasks. It's pretty self explanatory, but deep work tasks are tasks that take high energy and can take a long time to complete. They're higher leverage and they tend to move the needle forward a little bit more. Light tasks, on the other hand, are lower energy. They don't take as much cognitive load. But the key with light tasks is that they keep you going the same direction. It can be something as simple as scheduling a few uploads or going through your Gmail or even cleaning your room, you know, things that keep you going in the right direction that don't take as much effort. For me, I have these two buckets and I just fill them up with anything I can think of. When I sit down to work, instead of, asking myself, what am I going to do today? I ask myself, what state am I in? Is this a deep work day or is this a light task day? Once I have my answer, I grab a few tasks from either deep work or light and I complete them. The whole key with this is that every single task that I do have will push me in the correct direction or at least stop me from slipping backwards. And so it takes the pressure off of me to perform daily when that's just not how my energy flows. I'm not built for daily constant grind. I'm kind of built for long sprints and then you take a break and then you do another long sprint. That's just how my energy flows. And looking back, I've always been like that, but I've never really been able to define it and put my finger on it. Now, instead of saying, I need to get my life together, I ask myself, what does forward look like for me today? Some days that's deep work, and other days it's light admin tasks. And I stopped making promises to myself that I knew I wasn't going to keep. The funny thing is that by removing the constant pressure to be productive and to be consistent, my consistency has actually gone up over time. And not because I had the perfect plan or the perfect discipline or by force, simply because I respected the way my energy flows and I worked with it and not against it. If that sounds like you, there's probably nothing wrong with you either. If you're stuck in that same Sunday loop of planning yourself out of anxiety, maybe the goal isn't to become more disciplined. Maybe it's to stop asking your worst days to perform like your best ones. So that's all I really wanted to share today. So I will see you when I see you.